Alright, so here's part 2, reassembling, putting a new keyboard in this HP Pavilion X360M convertible model 14m-cd0003dx. So I already preheated the 3D printer pen, and I put the filament in through, if you can see the white plastic thing. So I'm just feeding it through. Okay, I got a little bit out. The only problem with the 3D printing pen is even if you stop feeding the stuff through, it'll keep kind of letting some of the plastic come out. But anyways, so what I did while I was off camera, I cleaned up a bunch of this. Some of it was still sticking up, so I had to kind of cut it a little bit more with the fingernail cutter to kind of get it to the right fit. So what you want to do is put the keyboard in and make sure that when you lay it down that all of it is against the frame. You want to make sure that when you push everything in, it will stay in place. Okay. Can be a little bit tricky. You might have to kind of hold this one. It doesn't line up right, so I kind of have to hold the middle up slightly to get it to go in, and then I can drop it in place. Okay, so that way it can hook into place. All right. But make sure that when you put the keyboard that everything can lay flat. Okay, that's very important, because if the keyboard doesn't lay flat, then you're gonna have problems later. All right, so the keyboard, it will lay flat, but this the melted plastic things need to be in place. So what you got to do, so right now, as you can see, it kind of moves around like this, and it won't hold until you actually get all the melted plastic holding it in place. All right, so the tricky thing is you have to figure out where you have to put the plastic back first, because well, actually, do we need this as well? So this piece goes on top. Guess we can do both at once. So this goes on top like this, right? Okay, so that's nice. This thing actually shows me where I need to put the plastic. Oh, oops, oh no. No, it's gonna unheat itself. But anyways, I did pre-fold this one. This one we will have to fold on top of this. You use the old keyboard as reference, okay? So I measured like the length of this where they put the fold, and then I just folded it in the same spot. And basically they have it fold back this way afterwards, but I don't think that part is too important, because when you put the cover, oh, I guess I do have to bend it. Okay, so I'm gonna line this up and then stick this down, and hopefully there aren't supposed to be any plastic pieces that are under this that I'm supposed to be melting as well. Let's see here. Yeah, these smaller ones, they don't have anything melted holding it in place. I think the keyboard, they actually designed it in a way where, oh, this stuff doesn't line up. So I don't know. The keyboard is slightly different, I think. Yeah, it is slightly different. Hopefully that won't be an issue. They did say this keyboard was for this model, but it is slightly different, so I don't know. I hope it will hold in place. It's slightly not fitting right. I think once I melt the plastic in place and put the metal bracket on top, it should be okay. So we'll go ahead and do that. This thing comes with this, so you have to peel this off. Okay. It is slightly different, but they did say it was for this model, and they shipped it from China, so I'm not going to be able to ship it back. It's going to take too long, so we're going to line this up. Okay. Put that in place. Just make sure all the holes line up properly. Sorry if my head's getting in the way. I'm not looking up while I'm doing this, so I'm gonna just line it up and hope it goes in the right place. And hopefully none of these need to be on there. Okay, let's peel this one off as well. Alright, I think I'm going to use the other thing to help me line it up. So This one, they fold it so it's pretty flush. There's not really any slack, so I'm going to just pull it all the way and fold it over. Okay, hopefully it goes okay. Okay, and then this one folds to about the same spot as this one, so I'm going to fold this over. Goes about there. Sorry, I know my head's getting in the way. Just line it up, fold it over to there. Okay, try and keep the top and bottom pieces parallel. Okay, you don't want to fold the crease too hard because that can actually damage the keyboard. But this cable is actually pretty long, so I hope it'll work. I don't know. This one is much longer, see? So, I don't know. That's what the model they said it was for, so I'm just going to do what they said. Okay, it looks like there's a line here, so maybe I'm supposed to... Oh, wait. What? No. That's weird. Okay. Maybe, let's see. So this folds here, and then that goes there, and it lines up. So this one folds here, and then the way they have the other one, the end of the backlight cable, it basically meets the end of the fold here. So I'm going to do the same kind of fold that they have. Okay, just like that. It looks like on this one, they fold it here to make it kind of even, but it's kind of weird. I don't think I want to do that because that might be wrong. Yeah, no, that's wrong. Okay, I'm going to fold this, and then I guess the extra slack, I'm just going to have it go through like this. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll find out. All right. So put that back. Since I didn't peel this, I guess it'll just follow these. Okay, so let's start melting stuff. Oops, I forgot about that. Now I need to get this heated up again. Sorry about that. Now it's going to be a long... Wait, I didn't mean for it to take this long. Okay, so I need to heat this back up. The thing ejected the plastic, so I'm going to have to push it back in. But basically, okay, so the keyboard, the way they had it, it lines up to where these are about equal. And I think that's how the motherboard is. So I think as long as I fold this over, and I have this about equal to, it should be okay. So I'm going to just fold it like this. Okay. And hopefully that's enough slack. If not, hopefully I can just pull it through the other side. Okay, so we're waiting for this to heat up again. Sorry about that. A lot of waiting in this video. I mean, this is one of the more complicated, complex repairs. I usually don't like doing these kinds of keyboard repairs, but yeah, so what I'm gonna do, the problem is, I don't know if this metal plate needs me to melt the things over the metal plate as well. So maybe I need to mark those. So now that I got that, let me see if I can put these pieces of tape back over it. Like this. Get this piece of tape, put that over the top as well. Okay, this piece of tape over the top as well. So what I'm going to try and do is do the outer edges first. It looks like if I put those three, yeah, some of these, they require me to, let's see here. See, some of these, it goes through both the keyboard and that, so I need to somehow mark those so I know not to melt those down first. So let's get my silver Sharpie. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and mark these holes where the silver piece also goes. So, alright, so we've got these two. Okay, we got this one. Then we got those three. So that one. Let's see what else. Yeah, this is like a complicated process. So got these two here. So this you kind of, there's a lot of details you have to kind of pay attention to on this. I mean, technically, I guess you don't have to do it perfectly, but I don't like just doing stuff sloppily. So alright. I think the rest don't go through the keyboard. Like this one. Okay, sorry, I know I'm getting my head in the way. It's trying to see what I need to actually mark and not mark. Okay. I guess technically all of these show, so I can do them after I put the metal plate back on, so. Oh man, this is getting confusing. Okay. Got those two, got that one, got that one. Alright. That one. No, stop! Man, that's the only thing with that. If you wait too long, it's like, it just gives up and just goes back anyways. Okay, I think these two. And maybe that one down there? No, that one's okay. Okay. So I think we got everything we need. What about that one? I guess this one too. Okay. So I marked up all the ones that are kind of on the other side of the metal plate that you can also hold down with plastic as well. So all the ones that don't have the mark, I'm going to actually melt those in first. So I think this side, okay. So what I do, take this thing, assuming it's going to stay on, sorry. Okay, maybe it's already hot enough. I'm going to try and melt this one corner here. Okay, so what you do is you just press and hold the keyboard in place, and then you melt this down. Okay, and I will have to add some plastic on top as well, just because we cut off that other piece of plastic. If you don't have a 3D printing pen or something like this, and you want to use glue instead or epoxy, what I do is with the keyboard, I shove pieces of like cut up plastic, broken like the old cardboard, not cardboard, old credit cards, and I'll shove them underneath the keys so it pulls it against this. Because otherwise you kind of have to hold this in place while the epoxy hardens, and yeah, I mean, nobody's going to be holding it for that long while the epoxy hardens. Okay, so let's do this. Come on. Is it pulling the plastic? Okay, yeah, it is. Alright, so let's get some plastic in here. Come on. To get enough, there we go. Alright, so we got some plastic through, and just make enough so that it pops out just like before, and then I'll push that in place. Alright, this plastic can be pretty hot, so just be careful. I mean, I do this with my bare hand, but you're probably going to end up, if you're worried about burning yourself, I don't know, you have to use something that can absorb the heat that won't burn you. But you can use like an eraser or something, I guess. I don't know. Needs more. Come on. There we go. That's probably too much. There we go. Just like that. Melt it through to both sides so that what you want to do is the plastic that's under there, you have to melt that too. You can't just put the plastic on top. Okay, so you melt that and then you press it down, make sure it stays flat. All right, and just keep going along. Melt that down. Okay. Alright. And just melt the plastic. So I use the white one so it's easy to see where I've already done it. If you want, you can use matching color just so it looks nicer, but this stuff will all be hidden anyway, so it's not that important. I used to have yellow in this, that's why the white is like slightly yellow, if you're wondering. Okay. Alright, oops, I put the one that's supposed to have the mark there. Well, hopefully it's okay. Okay. This one melted too. Alright. This one too. Right. So basically, I mean, you get the idea. So if you want, you can skip this whole thing. It's basically all of that, and then I'm just gonna reassemble the laptop. But yep. Okay. So got all of that. Need more slack here. Okay. Get some of the middle. Oh, make sure if you start getting the plastic coming out that it's too much, to take that out of the way. Okay. Because you don't want to put way too much and then the metal plate won't go on top. Right, come on. I don't know if there's some higher quality 3D printing pens like this that will prevent it from over extruding like that. I'm sure there's some, but yeah. Okay, let's take out the excess here. It's all stringy everywhere. It's basically a much hotter hot glue gun. So, okay, so these top ones I'm going to do separately. Did that have plastic through it? I don't know. Well, let's do this. This one still has a post there, so I'm just going to melt it down and hopefully that will be good enough. Nope, I do have to add some more. Okay, so I like to mix the 3D printed stuff with the melted stuff that's already, I mean the original one that I remelt, so that way it stays in place. Okay, this one looks like it never had anything there. I don't know. I guess because the keyboard's not an exact match. But we can add one if we want. Just have to add more melted plastic. Okay. So I have to constantly adjust how much plastic that comes out and goes back in. Okay, it looks like almost all of those already had something. Let's add this one. This one's going to be tough because it's misaligned, so it's actually melting a new hole. Okay, it's working kind of. I wonder if I should lift it and melt underneath there so it's more flush, but Okay, almost all of these have posts that go through the other metal things, so okay, nope, just plastic up. It's a little bit difficult to control the flow on this thing, but you get the hang of it. Kind of have to retract it and then push a little more. Oops, that's way too much. So push that all back into the hole and stir it up with the original plastic. You can, I don't know if you can see, but it starts turning gray. That's how you know it mixed with the other plastic. Okay, so one thing I'm going to check now, since we got most of them in. Okay, so now you want to flip it over and look at it. See, so now it's actually lined up pretty nicely. It's not bowing back out anymore, but once we put the metal plate, it should be perfect, okay? So it should push all the rest of the parts here that are sticking out in. Okay, we will have to fold this. Hopefully these cables aren't getting damaged, because if these cables are damaged and I have to do this again, I don't know. I hate this. It's not gonna be nice if that happens. Alright, so let's get this metal plate. I need to make sure that thing doesn't retract itself again. So I'm gonna put this through here and put this one through here as well. Okay, this needs to actually stay folded in there because it's supposed to go underneath. Same thing with this one. So you want the excess actually to stay under there. We don't want it to go all out, but I don't know. We'll see. How am I going to do that? Because it keeps wanting to pop itself back up. Alright, so line this one back in place. Make sure those adhesive things stay down properly. So these things keep wanting to re-roll because the adhesive is no longer there like it used to be. Oh, I need to melt these ones too. So I forgot about these smaller ones. Ouch, it's hot. Okay. Go, get the white plastic there. Do this one as well. Sorry if my head's getting in the way. I kind of need to look over the top so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, I better do all of these as well. I almost forgot. Mix it with that. Okay, last one. This also isn't really lined up with one, but I'm going to add it just because it has the hole there. Mix it up with the black plastic below. Because the more points that are holding in place, the better it will stay more solid. Okay. Now the metal thing, again, make sure you kind of bent it back so that it's more flat. Okay. And let me see here. How did this go? I think. I'm going to test with the old keyboard to make sure it lines up right. Pretty sure it just barely peeked through. This is kind of a pain. I mean, this model definitely wasn't designed to be repaired. Okay, so it goes like that. This lines up, and that lines up like that. Alright, I think it was it like that? Is this on top or underneath? I don't remember. It's gonna suck if I have that. Oh, I don't remember. I think it was all underneath. I don't think it should be on top. So this was here. Technically it could go on top and it won't really make much of a difference. Maybe I should put it on top just to be safe. I don't know. Well, I'll just do it the way it is, like this. Okay. Alright, so we got that. Now let's get these lined up. Yeah, I think I should just put them through on top, so that way I don't have to worry about it. Okay, just like this. Oops, no, stop it. Okay, heat yourself back up. Stop it. Stop undoing yourself. Okay, so line this back up. Line up all those holes. Line up all these holes. Line up all those holes. Alright, then when we put these back, it should hold on really flush. So here you can see I accidentally melted that one that I shouldn't have. Wonder if I should cut the plastic off of there. It should be okay. Alright, so we got that. Okay, so it's already warm enough because I stopped it in time. So I'm gonna lock the bottom part here first, if I can. Oops, too much. There we go. Melt that up. I know this is a long, tedious process, but I kind of just want to show you what I have to go through for these kinds of repairs. And maybe some people will be inspired and will attempt these, but yeah, I don't know. I don't expect anyone to attempt these kinds of repairs. These are more like if you're super desperate to save some money. Okay, so we got this. But, I mean, if you can repair stuff for people like this, then, I mean, you can turn that into money you can make by saving money on parts, because the keyboard assembly would probably cost a lot more if you buy the entire thing. So if you don't have a bunch of work and you have time to do this, then yeah, go ahead, do it. It'll make you some money, it'll save them some money, or you can charge them whatever it would cost for a replacement one. But just make sure you can do a good job, otherwise it doesn't make sense to do this, do a bad job, and then return it to them. So make sure if you're going to do this that you take the time to do a good job. Oh, that's way too much. Definitely didn't need that much. So the nice thing with this is if you heat up all the plastic, even if there's a lot, you can just smash it all flat along the metal frame. Okay, so just like that. We're going to go along. We're going to do this side now. Okay, this thing is getting hot. Okay, melt in some more plastic. Alright, this side. The only problem with this is I didn't have a way to test the keyboard before doing all of this. So if the keyboard is bad, I pretty much did all this work for nothing. That's the biggest problem with this kind of repair. It rarely will happen that way, but it is possible. So yeah, and the problem is a lot of these keyboards, when you order them, they'll come from China or something. So if you need a replacement, it takes a long time, about 2 weeks to get it. It depends where you live though, but where I live it takes about 2 weeks to get the parts. I guess some places it can even take like a month or longer, so keep that in mind. Alright. So yeah, I found this 3D printer pen is pretty useful. I actually bought it to fix 3D prints that I do if they came out bad, but I ended up using it for computer repairs, so it's actually convenient. Yeah. I bought 2 of these, so if I accidentally break one, then I got a backup. Actually, I might have bought 3, because originally I thought my nieces or nephews would like them to do art or something with. But yeah, okay, that's not supposed to be melted. Okay, so this is turning out pretty well. This side might be a little tough, it doesn't stay down. Be careful because the cable here is getting moved around. I think this should be okay if the cable is sticking out, so yeah. Okay. And then they had this piece that had the tape, so I'm going to put that tape back over. This piece also had the tape. Let's put that tape back over as well. I don't know why they have those pieces of tape, but they're there, so I guess we'll keep them there. Okay. Oh, this piece I didn't bend back properly, so it's slightly bowed up, but I think it should be okay. Sorry if my head's getting in the way. Doing what I can. Okay. Last piece here. On this side. Yeah, I know this is a long, painful process. But if you have patience, let's see here. Alright, so we got that. Let's melt down this one. So the screw mount will help hold this metal piece down that I didn't bend down properly. So it's not really a big deal, but yeah. Okay. If you notice, what I've been doing is I melt the post a little bit first, and then I add the plastic to it. So I melt that one, and then I add the plastic into it, and then I stir it together. So that's why if you look at it, the stuff that's there is not just white, it's like gray, because it's actually mixed together with the melted post. And that's how you get a good, strong bond with the old plastic pieces. Some of the old posts are still kind of have a lot of plastic left, so you don't have to completely add the whole bunch of the replacement plastic. But, yeah. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's do a test real quick, see on the other side how it's going. Alright, looks like it's getting pretty good. So as you can see, this side is holding well. This side is still kind of not good because we didn't finish melting all this down, but it's getting there. Alright, let's continue going along. We'll actually go on this side now. Maybe that'll be more useful. If anyone's like watching up to this point, I'm impressed because it's very repetitive. There's not really any new stuff you need to see other than which holes you're filling with plastic. So I guess if you're doing this and you're following along, then I guess you'll know which parts to add plastic to. Alright, let's seal down this. Go, it's getting good. Oops. Okay, mix that all in. That's a lot. Let's add some here. Okay. Some of these used to have bigger posts, but I don't remember exactly which ones. But as long as you get most of it all around the keyboard so that it holds itself in place, you can test it afterwards. Make sure everything's in place. and it should be okay. All right. Okay, we are getting there. Okay, we're getting there. Let's see, what else are we missing? We got these two. Actually, let's do the top up here. We got the middle one here. It's probably one of the most important ones. Make sure you don't miss the middle one that's underneath the cable. Mix all the plastic together. Swirl it around to flatten it and then push it down. Alright, we are almost done. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think that's supposed to be one. Okay, let's see. We got them all. Are we missing? Okay, we got these two here. Or three, actually. Make sure that the ones that you put the plastic on were actually had melted ones before. Should be able to tell by looking at how the post is broken. Because there are some that actually just have a little post that is not meant to be melted. I don't know why it's making that weird squeaky sound. I hope I'm not breaking this thing. Okay. Is it having problems going through? Let's unravel it this way. There we go. That might help. Start out. Alright. Alright, let's see what we got. Are we missing anything? So here you can see this one here, it's just a regular post. It wasn't cut or melted, so you want to leave that one alone. The rest, I think, looks good. Just want to check all of it. Okay, give it a look over once or twice. Make sure everything's nice. Alright, I think we are good to go. Okay, so now that we got all of that, we are going to start putting everything back together. So, we will grab the motherboard, or the logic board. This is actually called a logic board because the CPU and the stuff is all soldered to the board, okay? Alright, so let's see, we're gonna put this back, actually, let's put back in the order that we kind of took it out. So let's put back the fingerprint sensor. This thing is a little bit bent, so I'm gonna have to bend it back. Alright, put the fingerprint sensor. Okay, drop that in there. Make sure it's lined up right. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this on camera because I kind of need to look over the top and it's kind of hard to do that with the camera there. Okay. So I kind of have to tilt this sideways. It's a little tricky getting it lined up completely. I'm going to use this little pick tool to kind of push it down a little bit. Okay, so it's kind of in the right spot. Too much junk here. Alright, let's move that out of the way. Okay, so let's get this metal piece here. And this one, the metal piece, the cable goes through, there's a little hole here. So you want the cable to go back through that hole. Okay, line it up and line it up. So this is why you don't melt that piece here, because this goes right there. Okay, get the screwdriver. Put the screw back into this metal plate, and that holds the fingerprint sensor in place against the frame of the laptop. Okay, so when you got that in, you should check. The fingerprint sensor should be lined up flush with this. Oops, sorry if you can't see. It should be lined up flush. Okay, then we're going to put this tiny board in. This was a little tricky, but let's grab that. I think this one goes down here. Yep. Excuse me. Make sure that the latch is up, and then try and get that connector in. This one can be pretty tricky, so line it up. Oh, it put the latch down on its own. So if you try and pull it back out, you should see it's kind of held strong there again. So I think that means it's in all the way. Yeah, if I take it back out, it's kind of tough. Okay, so let's line it back up again and reinsert the cable. Man, I should have left it. This one's so tricky. Okay, I don't know if you can even see what I'm doing because it's so small. But let's see if I can zoom in at least a little bit for you guys. So we got this, is it in view? Okay, I think it's in view. Grab that board, get that lined up. So tricky getting this lined up right. I should have just left it in when I had it right the first time. But God, this is very difficult to put back. Let me see if I can grab this piece here. So I'm holding on the little tab with my fingernail. Let me see if that helps, so I can just slide it sideways instead of at a weird angle. Come on, go back in. Yeah, this cable's tough to get back in properly. Oh my goodness, I should have just left it. Well, I guess at least now you can see if you try to do this and you're having problems, it's not your fault, it's tough. Okay, well, it put the latch back down, so I think that means it's going in. There we go. Alright. I'm going to use this to help push it in. Alright, I think we are good. Put the latch back down. Alright. Push that back in place. Get the screwdriver and put that screw back there to hold it down. Alright, so it should be held in that slot. Okay, let's see. Let's put back this one as well. Alright. Oops, sorry, I need to zoom back out for you guys. At least a little bit. Alright, so let's put back this one. This is for the power button. Line it all up. Drop it in place. Oh, this part is a little tricky, so you actually have to put it at an angle to get this past this little plastic latch there. And then once you get it in there, you should be able to drop both sides down. Here we go, perfect. Now we're going to put back all 3 screws. So there's 2 screws holding this metal bracket, which is meant for like a lock mechanism to lock your laptop down to a table. And then we're going to tighten up all 3 screws. All right. There we go. Got all 3 screws in. Now you can test the power button, make sure it clicks. Yep, it's clicky. Okay, let's see. Now we got the trackpad. Let's take the trackpad, put it back in. I think you put the bottom first, like this, and then the top goes in. Does it go in a slot? Let me see here. Nope, there's no slot here. Does it actually let me drop it from this side, or do I have to? Oh yeah, you can drop it from the top. Okay, perfect. So we'll drop that on. Oops, sorry, I forgot to zoom back out. So the trackpad, we just dropped it back in place, okay? And just drop it back down. Make sure those 3 line up. You'll want to put the 3 screws at the top first here. Okay, just like this. All right, then get this metal bracket. It's kind of dirty, let me clean it off. So this metal bracket, okay, you put it here and then you slide it down. So these two wings will actually go underneath. There's some plastic here that's sticking up. So you want to slide that under like that, okay? And that will hold that in place. Put back the 3 screws down there. All right. 2, 3. Oops. Jeez, why isn't it going in? It's like falling over. There we go. I had to push this down a little, it moved. All right, I guess we'll loosen these screws and make sure they're in all the way. Then tighten it back down. Okay. All right, now you want to turn it over, check everything real quick. It's clicking okay. Trackpad's good. Keyboard feels nice and solid. All right, should be good. Flip it back over. Let's see, we got the motherboard screws, got the hinge screws, we got the wireless card. Okay, so now we're gonna put the motherboard back in. All right, let's move the trash can out of the way. Grab the motherboard. Be careful, you have this cable still here, so we do have to put that slightly in an angle to get that in first. All right, the headphone jack, make sure it goes in properly. Slowly drop it down. This one doesn't have any hidden cables under that you need to worry about, except for this one that, except for this one that you need to plug back in. Zoom back out a little bit. Okay, let's make sure everything is lined up here. Looks like it's lined up right. This USB port looks like it should be a little closer, but it doesn't move, so I think that's good. All right, plug this cable back in. Might be a little tricky, but you got it. All right, just like that. Put that latch down. All right, touchpad cable also, make sure, put that back in. Line it up. Use the blue tab, you can push it further. I don't know if you saw that, but I used the blue tab with my nail and I just pushed on that. All right, and then put the latch back down. All right, we don't use this port. This port is for like if you have a regular hard drive here. Okay, what else do we got? We got the wireless card. Let's put the wireless card back in place. Take the wireless card, just slot it in, push on it like that. Take the screw, make sure it's all the way in, and then tighten this down. All right, make sure all the motherboard is lined up with all the screw holes. Everything looks good. So again, I marked the logic board so you can see where the screws are. Let me see if I can do a somewhat close up. So first screw goes down here. Okay, I did lay them out on my table and I showed a video of that earlier. So if you don't know the screw layout or you mixed up all your screws, watch the first part of this video and you will see how I laid out the screws, and then you can find out where all the screws go. Okay, so we got those two, we got this one. Okay, next screw. Hopefully I'm getting all the screws back in the right spots. I did mark it, so it should be right. Okay, so we got this screw. Oh yeah, okay, that's all there is. So got this screw down here. Sorry if I went out of view. I'm trying to keep it in view with zoomed in so you get a little more detail. Right, you got this kind of dark silverish gray screw up here holding this part of the fan. Then you got this black screw down here holding this side of the fan. Did I mark it wrong? I put the mark on the corner, but it's actually over here. Okay. Then we got this screw holding the audio board and the USB board. So this is replaceable. Power button's replaceable. The fingerprint sensor is replaceable, and everything else is soldered in place. Oh, you do have the charge port that I accidentally knocked out here. So we'll plug the charge port back in. Okay, and that just goes down like this. Hopefully you're able to see that. Then we got the power button cable here that we need to put back. Make sure you lift up the latch. Alright, get that in, plug it in. Same thing with this side, lift up the latch. Oh no, I trapped the keyboard. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna have to take the motherboard back out. At least a bunch of it, not all of it. Oh, okay. I think I need more sleep. I'm forgetting stuff. Okay, let me zoom back out. So I accidentally trapped the keyboard and the keyboard backlight cable underneath the board. So now I have to take all these screws back out. Goodness. Okay. This one. Alright, don't forget the one here. I think this one I can leave in, but this other fan one I need to take out. Okay. Hopefully that'll be enough that I can just lift the board and take that piece. Oh, I do have to undo the trackpad cable here. And I need to undo the other cable here for the fingerprint sensor to the main board. Okay. If this cable breaks, you basically will lose the fingerprint sensor, so if you don't really use it, then I guess you don't really need to worry. There we go. Let's lift the board back up. Hopefully, actually, I don't know if I can lift it from this side, can I? Oh, I have to take the wireless card screw out as well. Now this is turning into a twice disassembly video. Okay, let's get that cable out and get the keyboard cable out. Okay, there we go. Now we got these. I'm going to plug these in first just so I don't forget. Alright. So let's reconnect the keyboard backlight cable, the new one. It helps to fold the cable down slightly and then grab the little tab, the plastic tabs that they have. Okay. Just like that. Alright. So hopefully that's all it needed, and hopefully the keyboard will work again because they were having issues with the keyboard. Okay, let's latch that back down. Let's get all the screws back in place. Wireless card up here. Okay. Hopefully I didn't trap any other screws or cables anywhere underneath. I think that's all of them. Alright, charge port back in place. Let's put this cable back first just in case. Since we can lift the board slightly, it helps. There we go. Okay. Now let's put back all the screws again. Make sure the volume buttons still work. They are clicking, so that's good. They're lined up properly. Okay. Put back the rest of the screws. Right. Screw here. here. One screw for the fan here. The power button cable. Yeah, at least I noticed it before I completely reassembled everything. That would have been super sad. Alright, so now for the screen, again, I'm going to turn it upside down like this. Zoom out some more so you can see. And I'm going to use this red thread locker stuff. Okay. We'll take the screen. Alright, let me get this stuff. Screen's kind of dusty. Alright, get the hinges. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Drop them in place. That should hold down the charge port here. Make sure the charge port is not going to get damaged from dropping this in place. Okay. Alright, so take the screw. Get the... I can't do this in the camera view because it might drip on the computer. Well, here we go. And just put a tiny bit like that. Okay. And then tighten the screw down. Simple as that. Alright, and just repeat that with the other 3 screws. Okay. When you open and close this, when it's only with these 4 screws, you want to be very careful because there's not much leverage or the screen has too much leverage, so it can actually rip the plastic out of these. I've seen a lot of computers where the hinge mechanism breaks. Well, it's not really the hinge, but the mounting point breaks. Just because of that bad design, they make the screws like just in one line, which is pretty bad. Normally the hinge should extend further out into the computer to get better, for a better hold. Alright, and that's why I add the thread locker, because if it comes loose, then it can break it really easily. Alright, so I'm going to close the screen now. Again, you want to be very gentle, do it slowly. Okay, and now we're going to reconnect the LCD or LVDS cable. Hopefully you can see. It's probably too dark, it looks. Alright, so line it up. Push it in, and then put the latch down. Just like that. And then put the tape back over the top. I don't know why they tape it to the heat pipe. That kind of scares me. But yeah. Alright. Oh, then you want to leave this cable out of the way. Actually, we might have to take this cable back out because the speaker needs to go in there. Yeah, we do need to take it back out. Oh, man. Forgot about that. Okay, let's take that cable back out. Good thing I remembered about that speaker. Okay, so this, oh, let me zoom back out, sorry. So this part of the speaker has to go underneath first, so you want to put that side first up at an angle, slide that in, under, hopefully you saw. Okay, I slid that in, and then drop it down, make sure the cables aren't in the way. Just like that. There we go. There's no screws holding that in place. These cables actually all wrap around here to hold the speaker down. Okay, so again, I'm going to put the LCD or LVDS connector back in and then flip the latch back down. Make sure that the latch goes all the way down on the LVDS connector. Alright, get that. We'll put the speaker connector back in. If you notice, they have this mark they put on top, but basically you don't want these gold pins showing. You want the flat plastic side on top. Okay, push that back in, just like that. Now we will take this, I think this is the camera cable. Same thing as the LVDS connector, just put it through the slot. Make sure the latch stays up. Alright, there we go. Put the latch down, put the adhesive back in place. Now for the wireless antennas. Why does this have this tape here? I don't know. Oh, okay. So again, you want the white label to go to the white arrow and the black label to go to the black arrow. Okay. Nothing too tricky. Come on, go back in your little gap there. It doesn't want to go in. Oh, because the other cable's in the way. Well, alright, so let's get this side in and then this side. Alright, so just line up the cable. I might have to hold this cable out of the way so that this can go in underneath. Okay, that's better. So line up the antennas. Let's see if I can zoom in and show you a little bit better. Oops, let me turn this off. My phone was about to overheat. It's been charging. Okay, there we go. So line up the antenna. Make sure it stays in place, then pop it down. Alright, same thing with this one. Line it up. Make sure it doesn't move. I rub my fingernail over to see if it's lined up, and then I push it down. Alright, here we go. So that's pretty much everything, just the battery now. Alright, take the battery, make sure the screw mounts line up, make sure this cable's out of the way. Okay, just like that. Line up the little hole there. Get this lined up. So, oops, sorry, I forgot I zoomed out somewhat, or zoomed in. Okay, so the battery, let me go back again. So you got this. These cables will get smashed down by the battery. Make sure you lift this cable out of the way and line up the screw holes. Line up the little notch down here. Okay. Once you get that, just push it down right here. You need to press here to make sure it goes in. Okay. And then we'll put the screws back in. Most likely the computer will complain that the BIOS was reset because it's been unplugged for so long. So, or because the battery's been disconnected so long, it actually uses this battery as the CMOS or the BIOS battery. So yeah, basically the computer is going to complain that the computer CMOS BIOS was reset. So don't worry about that, that's normal. And the computer will take a while to boot up the first time after that happens. So when you first turn it on, as long as you see the power button on, just give it some time. It will take a while to boot. Okay, so we got everything back in. The RAM is underneath here, all latched in. There was only one stick. SSD, all of that. That looks good. Okay, so let's put the cover back on. I'm gonna test it before I put the screws back in, but we'll at least clip this just so it's not gonna get any issues. Okay, so that's good. Now let's make sure it powers on. I might need to plug it in. Okay, it is turning on. The light is on. And as you can see, the computer's just staying black. The light on the side here, the light on the side here is showing that it's on. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, but that light's white. The computer's not showing anything. Just be patient. Sometimes it will take some time. I feel the fan blowing air. And if it still doesn't turn on, even after waiting for a while, it could be the RAM is screwed up. So you might want to check the RAM. But just give it some time. And hopefully it will pop up. Let's see. These computers always scare me because it tends to do this. So hopefully it's actually working and not actually broken this time. There you go. So you see what I mean? Now it's actually giving this message on the screen. CMOS checksum invalid. CMOS will reset to default. That's because the battery was pulled. So just press enter. It resets to default. Just make sure to reset your date and time on your computer. and you should be okay. So the computer's still booting up. All right, come on. There you go. HP logo's on. See the dot spinning around, so we are good to go. I'm gonna keep this out of view in case it shows the customer's login stuff, but test the keyboard, make sure everything's working, and once you make sure, you're good to go. So here you can see the screen with the date and time, which is probably wrong right now. It says Sunday, November 1st. What's that sound? So it says Sunday, November 1st. That's wrong. So yeah. So basically, everything should be okay. The keyboard is working. I don't know their passwords, so I don't know if I'll be able to... I guess I can type the alphabet. And just make sure it shows. Okay. Yep, so keyboard's working. And I'm going to shut it down. Close this up. Put back the screws. Again, the hinge screws, I like to add the thread locker to make sure that the hinges don't come loose. So on these two back screws, the longer ones, I am going to add the thread locker. Okay. All right. So tighten that up. All right. Same thing with the other one. All right. Tighten that up. Put the cap back on. There we go. And then put the last 3 screws in and we are good to go. Don't forget the little rubber feet if you took those, if you didn't lose those already from somewhere else. Because I've seen a lot of people lose those rubber feet. They just disappear. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to this. It was a long process. How long did we go for? So this whole repair probably took me almost 3 hours, I think, because there were stuff that I kind of cut out. But yeah, so this whole repair took me almost 3 hours. That's a lot of work just to replace a keyboard. I hate how these companies are doing this stuff these days, but I don't know. You can't really stop them, and I don't think there's a way to make a law that says you have to make them easier to repair. But yeah, so there we go. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, please like and subscribe because that'll help others find these videos. It'll also help me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.